Are you over 50? Well, I've been thinking about you. Let's get a bit more professional here. What's going on here? Let's stage this up. I've been thinking about, this is a very early morning video. This is not like a video with a super topic in mind. I've just been thinking about different age ranges. I'm drinking my coffee. Got my nicotine. And I've just been thinking about different age ranges, and I was thinking about people that were above 50, and I just wanted to have this conversation. Be very unprofessional because I'm not wearing my chain. And for those people who are asking, yes, I have exactly the same t-shirt on. I have 10 of the same t-shirts because that's how I am. I don't like too much variety. There we go. So super early in the morning. This is just a jam session. This is not like a serious super topic. But I've been thinking about people who are over 50. Let's push all of this away. Have some clear thought here. People over 50 who are wondering, should I be in Bitcoin? Should I allocate to Bitcoin, et cetera, et cetera. And here's what I've learned, right? I think it's important to understand who we're talking to. So I am 36 years old, but I'm not like the average 36-year-old that I meet. And the reason for that is I started working when I was 15 in real estate. For those of you that don't know my story, my dad was in real estate. And one day when he was negotiating a property deal, I was standing there looking at him and kind of found it funny and got off the phone and he said, "What are you looking at? What are you laughing at?" And I told him, excuse my language, but I said, "That shit looks easy." And, one of the best gifts that I ever got was in that moment of arrogance, he could have easily said, "Get the hell out of here," right? That's it. That's all it would have taken. Get the hell out of here, right? But he didn't. What he said to me was, "Oh yeah, it looks easy. Show me. Show me." Who's trying to message me at 6:30 in the morning? Anyway, he told me, "Show me. Show me it's easy." I'm just telling me, show me. So that was the first kind of start to my career. And within like 6 months, at 15 and a half years old, I had to learn what a mortgage broker was, what a developer was, what a lawyer was, what bridge financing was, how to do creative financing, how to speak to clients that may want to buy a property. I had to do all of this at like 15 and a half because there was no way I wasn't going to show him that it was easy. And then, of course, I did pretty well at it because generally speaking in business, when you just don't give a shit and you're completely de-risked, oh my God, when you're completely de-risked is when the success actually happens. And so for me, I was 15 and a half years old. Whether you want to do this property deal or not, I am going to go to school and do my homework. I had a roof over my head, and of course, mentors, my dad and other people to speak to if I misunderstood anything. So, I got successful quite quickly because I could just speak to a developer and say, "Do you want to do this deal?" And if they said no, it wasn't like the end of the world for me. I wasn't relying on that deal. So, got successful very quick, built up some confidence very quickly. And in that process, and why I'm telling you that story, is because, I would say since 2021, you and I have got more people. That's why I appreciate every single person watching this video. And the faster you hit the subscribe button and the faster you watch the video, the more it tells YouTube that it needs to share the video to other people like you that might need to hear the message. That's why I say please subscribe to the channel, because it actually does a lot from an algorithmic point of view. So the reason why I'm telling you this is I've never dealt with people that were my age. I wasn't dealing with, when I was 15 doing real estate, I was talking to 50-year-olds, right? And every business that I've done since then has been, it's got a bit younger because people have started taking their life more seriously because the welfare system started falling apart. But generally, it's like 40 and above. That's been my life experience. Those are the mentors I've had around me. Those are the people that I've spoken to. Those are the people that are my friends. Those are the people that I've learned from. Those are the people who I have, that's my world, right? How do I help someone who is 40, 50 plus, change their wealth? Which is why I think my channel did really well in the last bull run, because I knew how to speak to the person I wanted to speak to. I'm not really, and I know enough about you without knowing you personally, let's say, to know how to actually get the message across, right? I know for a fact that if you're in that age range and you're under a $30 million net worth, the majority of your wealth is in real estate. I know for a fact that if it's not in real estate, then you have a large amount in cash, and you have probably sub 5% in gold. I know that because you are the person that I've been speaking to and helping my entire life. And so when I think about you now and the conversations I have with 40, 50 plus year olds now about Bitcoin, and the amount of 50 plus year olds that I've actually helped get to 1 Bitcoin and more Bitcoin, there's one common thread throughout my life that I've learned, even when I was in real estate, equities, gold, and now Bitcoin. It's the same thread with this age range. And that is that you are that last generation that kind of expects what you do today to work in 30 years. You believe that building foundations today in something will last for 30 years. That's what you believe. And the problem is that you're heading into retirement in the middle of the greatest financial reset and the greatest financial evolution and revolution that has ever happened with Bitcoin. It's not your fault. You're going to believe that your property portfolio is going to be okay. And I'm going to tell you it's not. It's not going to be okay. It hasn't been okay. If you were in the UK, maybe if you were in the US, parts of the US, it's been okay. Maybe if you're in prime cities, prime locations, it's been okay. But if you just own an average property portfolio anywhere in the world, it's not been okay. It's not kept up with the debasement of the currency. Your property prices did not go up 40% in 2020. Right? That's how much the US dollar was debased. And whether you live in the USA, the UK, Canada, Australia, wherever you live, the one thing you've got to look at is the US dollar. You've got to benchmark your wealth to the US dollar because that is the dominating currency. So that's why I focus on that. You've got to benchmark it against the US dollar. So, you are unfortunately the last generation that kind of understands. Millennials, or rather people under 45, under 40, have been through this in their career, if they had a career, where they've had to change their career a couple times. But people under 30, they're changing their careers 4 times before they get to 35. So they understand the volatility of this, but you don't. You still have hope. And you still don't understand the power of a revolution. And property wasn't this big revolution until the 70s, right? So you've benefited from real estate. And now you need to understand that the ball and the game has changed. The ball is different. The game is different. The new players. See, wealth it's an infinite game, right? And the smartest players in the game understand how to pivot at the right times. It's the hardest thing I had to do with my parents, to help them understand that they needed to buy Bitcoin and start to offload some of their property investments. And so this is extremely tough, completely understand, but you have to understand what's going on here, because otherwise you're going to get left behind. Otherwise, the legacy that you spent time building, you've probably spent 30 years, you started at 20, building that property portfolio or whatever you've been doing, building your career, building your investments, building your family, and it's going to get left behind in one generation because the capital is moving. It's not going to stay in real estate. It's not going to stay in gold. That doesn't mean they won't go up, by the way. I think they will. And here's the justification that I always get from 50-plus-year-olds. It's, I'm already rich enough, so why do I need to worry about it? Well, you need to worry about it if there's anyone that comes after you with your last name that you give a shit about. That's why you need to worry about it. Because as I've seen many times in people that are in your situation, what happens is that you get focused on one thing so long, then the rug gets pulled out from underneath you, and then you don't pivot, and then you don't know what the hell just happened, and suddenly you're living in a situation where your wealth isn't enough. It looked like it was going to be enough, but it wasn't enough. And now you're gonna get a real beating because what you're stepping into is this terrifying world. Not only have you got a financial revolution where your property portfolio won't protect you, but you're not old enough to retire, right? You kind of want to do something. You kind of have that spark to do something. But now we're stepping into AI, and now we're stepping into this world of robotics, and now and guess who's going to get clipped the first? It's going to be the old people, right? I'm sorry to say that. Sorry to highlight that. It's going to be the old people that get clipped first. So now we're stepping into this world. So you've got to get used to some incredible volatility, and that's not what you're used to. You are used to, if I put effort into this one thing and focus on and build on this one thing, then it's going to take care of me into my retirement. It's going to do well for my family. But I'm telling you, if you do that, like many property investors in the UK that I know that did that, they are now struggling. And they should have listened to me when I was calling them and telling them that you should buy Bitcoin, but they didn't. In 2020. Same thing with gold, right? Like gold's going through a massive rally right now. I'm very happy for all my gold investor friends. I don't think it's going to last, but it's going through it. And it's like, I pivoted my gold in 2020, all of it, gold and silver, into Bitcoin. It's 20x'd. It's 20x'd. So doubling in gold doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, cool, fantastic. But the point here is this, the point that I really want to get across. If you're above 50, the question, Bitcoin changed last year. We went from, should I get a Bitcoin allocation, even though the ETFs were in and everything else was in, and I was telling everyone that, should I get an allocation, to how much of an allocation do I need? And that is a monumental tectonic shift in the psychology of Bitcoin from a capital markets perspective. And that's what I want you to start thinking. If you're not in Bitcoin yet, then you need to start thinking, what percentage is right for my portfolio? Because the world you are about to step into is going to be terrifying. Remember, you can't just pump property forever, because the peasants will be unhappy and they will vote you out. So you have to keep a cap on property, which is why President Trump, the capitalist president in chief, right, is saying that he's going to put a cap on how many hedge funds can buy single-family homes to bring the price down and make affordability a thing. Because affordability is what won Mayor Mamdani his race. Affordability is going to be the next thing, because what we're about to do, and Andrew Tate says this the best, we're stepping into a world of have-nots and have-yachts, right? Either you're going to have a lot or you're going to have nothing. The middle is going to be ripped apart, and Robert Kiyosaki has been saying this forever. So the question you got to ask is how much, what percentage of my portfolio needs to be in Bitcoin? That's what I want you to think about. I want you to come to terms with the reality that the framing of the world that you have thought of is no longer. It is about to change radically from a financial point of view. Bitcoin is going to absorb so much of the new liquidity that's printed. Real estate prices are not going to go up unless you're in prime real estate, the real estate that, let's say the homes of people who are ultra high net worth are not going to go down, right? But will they stagnate? I think maybe. Definitely single family homes are going to stagnate, right? And so that's going to be your biggest challenge. How do you pivot this? Especially right now, and the reason why I'm talking about this is because we're about to step into a low interest rate environment, and you're going to have an opportunity again to actually borrow some money against your portfolio because they need to get credit out there, so they're going to loosen up all the rules, everything's going to change. And then you're going to have an opportunity to borrow some money at very low interest rates, right? And then you're going to, just like my parents, decide, okay, do we buy more property here, or what do we do? And I want you to start thinking about what percentage needs to be in Bitcoin for this new revolution. It's going to be scary. It's all de-risked now for you, though, right? Compared to when I got into it, even in 2020, it's all been de-risked because you can just buy IBIT. You don't need to hold the Bitcoin. My parents, right? They just have IBIT. They don't want to hold the spot Bitcoin, and that's okay. But you need some exposure. If there is a single person who has your last name that you care about, you have to start thinking about what percentage of your net worth needs to be in Bitcoin, because otherwise you are going to be left behind. You'll still be rich, right? You'll still be fine, but you won't be great. And the reason why you were investing was so that you could be great, not fine. And you might not even be fine. You know how many property investors I know that have millions and millions of dollars of real estate and are struggling right now? It's not easy. But with Bitcoin, the beautiful thing about it is, since I was born and raised in London, I've then lived in Asia, lived in South America, and now I live in Dubai. The beautiful thing about Bitcoin is it's the same thing everywhere. It's the exact same asset in any city, any country, any continent, and I can liquidate it immediately. It's one of the reasons why I don't own a home myself right now. It's because if I want to pivot, and I want to pivot quickly, I need to offer a discount. I know how real estate works. I need to offer a discount to get a fast sale. And the problem with offering a discount is I don't get the value that I want. Whereas with Bitcoin, I can be anywhere in the world and I can sell it, and I can immediately get the value that it is because it's liquid everywhere in the world. That is the world that we're moving into. We're moving into a highly speculative world. You are not going to understand this world because it's not the world that you were born to and bred to understand. We are going to experience more volatility, more speculation, more of all of that. And you are going to need to decide how relevant is your wealth for anyone who's carrying your last name after you. And in that scenario, the question you need to ask yourself is, how much Bitcoin do I need in my portfolio? Not do I need it in my portfolio? And why do you know that? You've got the C-suite of Wall Street, C-suite of the US government, C-suite of every government worldwide. That's all you need to know. All the thinking is done now. The only question you need to ask yourself is, how relevant do you want to be as you go from your 50s to your 60s, to your 70s, to your 80s, to your 90s, hopefully to your hundreds, and then beyond, and whoever else is carrying your last name afterwards. If you care about them, you need to start thinking about what percentage of your net worth needs to be in Bitcoin to hedge against the fact that you might be wrong. Because ultimately, there's always only 3 rules to Bitcoin. Step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, shut the fuck up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.